Because she, well,
we have an
I
affiliation.
can give her like $25.
You can do whatever you want.
When she knew I sold security,
Yeah.
she's like, hey friend, you know, I go out to these apartments to sign up renters for rental.
Sell her a security system, give her $50 for everyone. Make her a customer appreciation program.
How about a referral from the State Farm agent?
Well, we get referrals from them. We have a national affiliation.
No, I mean, how about them giving the salesperson a referral? Allow the program work for them so you can show others.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
It's kind of like with the NFL pose. They can't wear t-shirts.
Right, because they have an affiliation. Some of the other things that you can do, and then we haven't touched everything.
I wanted to clarify something.
Okay.
I got a buddy who I used to go out and door knock with.
Okay.
Who works for the dealer.
Which one for that?
So he called me and told me, hey friend.
Hold on, I'm just freaking out. Oh, that's in Jacksonville.
11:39.
Keep going.
I got this buddy who I used to knock doors with, and now he knows I'm at corporate.
Yeah.
So he called me. He said the lady didn't qualify, but she had $600 that she wanted to spend on a system.
Yeah.
My thing is, I didn't sign him up as a PACE partner.
Does he work for a dealer?
Yeah.
He can't.
He can.
No, you'll get in trouble with that. Now, if he doesn't work for a dealer,
Your family can't even be.
no, it's just the family that lives in your address.
Oh, in yours.
He can't be at the same address.
Well, I live in a trailer. Parents are in the other house. So it's the same
And this guy, how he get a lot of sales too, because he installs peepholes right there on the spot.
Right.
So not only is he selling ADP security system,
Right.
but he also gives the customer a
Here's the
peephole.
you can try and you can apply and send it in, but I wouldn't. If they ask where he works, and you say he's an ADT dealer, then that's going to get kicked
He's
out.
an independent contractor.
Okay. Right.
But
I'm not giving you permission to do it. So
no,
don't
I
ask
know
me.
that. But I'm just trying to clarify something. I don't want to lose my job behind
Right,
it.
right.
Now, does it make a difference if he's an employee versus an independent contractor?
If he works for a dealer, that's where it's going to come back and haunt you. Now, if you get with, because I can give you a contact person you can reach out to and ask and say, hey, look, he does, but he installs peepholes and doors, and I want to get that business,
Right.
right? And you sign them up under the installs peepholes, and they give you blessings to do it, more power to it. But I
So
can't.
you said to tell them that he does sell for ADP?
I'm going to leave that up to you. So.
No,
I'll give you the person to call and ask. I'll give you their name and phone number of who to call and ask.
Okay. Because I mean, that's a lot of business right now.
It could be.
Because he runs a lot of credit every day.
Yeah, it could be. I'd at least take lunch.
He makes $5 grand a week.
The insurance document,
Yeah.
when do you?
After it's installed.
After it's
You
installed.
can't do it before it's installed.
And so it's our responsibility to get it printed up
Yes.
and take it to the insurance.
Yes.
Because a lot of times what the insurance company do, they call ADT and verify.
You scan it to you. You can have them scan it to you. You can have them email it to you. Because your customer can go on myadt.com once their account is active, and they can print it or they can email it. So have them email it to you. You print it out and you take it to the insurance agent.
So do we have access to print it out ourselves? We have to get the customer?
You have to get the customer, or you can get with your installation team to see if they have any forms, because sometimes they have the hard copies.
Yeah, we have the form, I mean, you can just sign it in the house and
Right.
just bring it.
Now, you have to get the hard, make sure you have the right hard copy for the insurance. That's not the certificate, it's not the little gold certificate.
It's actual
It's
paper.
an actual paper. So
That says certificate of installation.
I'm gonna have to. Jordan, because you're the only one who's had your hand up.
I was going to say the best way to build trust with people is, especially with like insurance agents and brokers, is taking a golf.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's 4 hours of you and another guy in a cart just talking about personal stuff. I've already got 2 appointments next week to go golfing with the broker and realtor. I've already set up the broker his house.
Yeah.
So
And it's worth the investment.
it is like me golfing.
So, I don't golf, so it would suck for me.
For me personally,
Right.
yeah.
And what you do, here's the thing is, I heard you say BNI yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk more about this later, but I'm not a BNI fan. And it's not because it doesn't work. It's because I don't like the way BNI runs it. I don't like any network group that will fine you or kick you out for not showing up.
Right.
Because I paid a lot of money to be part of that group, and if you miss 2 days, they'll kick you out and keep your money. And that frustrates me because my whole focus is to get a self-gen. If I have a self-gen and I can't go to the meeting, I should be penalized for that. So what I learned to do is I set up my own network groups. I created my own through my ADT PACE partners. And so I would get my ADT PACE partners at different ones once a month. We'd go have breakfast or lunch somewhere or dinner, and we'd all sit and network with each other. And I found out that worked a lot better than joining. Now you can join groups if you don't want to spend how much do you pay for your B9?
Well,
The tip was a lot more than
Business
that.
Network International. There's also like PBN, Professional Business Network, and all these groups that you can join that they have a purpose. That's the problem. They run it too much like a business.
you gotta act like it's the greatest thing in the world.
Right.
You know, and yet, yeah. But, I mean, I did it for a year in Las Vegas with Vivint.
Right.
And I mean, I was taking 2 or 3 a month, right? So, yeah, I just started in Albuquerque with it, but.
And there's a place for it.
Right.
But if you don't want to spend the $500, you can look up Google your city network groups. Actually, add the word free. Network.
Meetup.com.
Because there's a ton of free networking groups that you can go join to see if something like that would even be worth your while before you pay. Check out some of these other network groups.
So ADT won't cover us.
They're usually not.
Wow.
And another good
Again,
source
it's
too,
a-
I go to a lot of financial seminars, and you know,
Two
it's like,
seventy.
sometimes they're like 200, 250, but it's like you're in a room full of 500 people,
Yeah.
like realtors, investors, all type of people.
Homeowners.
That's a great time to network.
It is good. And I love networking. Don't get me wrong. I love networking. So, yes.
Quick question, Jordan, does it matter if you win or lose if you take them out?
No.
Now, sometimes it's good to lose, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to lose.
Off, so if they beat the crap out of you.
Even if you
they
don't know how to,
probably good.
like I said, it's 4 hours of you and the other guy sitting in the car just talking.
Okay, what about women?
I never lose, so I don't know.
He never takes women either, apparently. So, all
I'll
right.
take
I'll
the
beat my
dinner.
wife all day.
Out of these installs, now we wrap this up before lunch. Out of these installs, one of the other things that you can do is this. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's asking for emergency contacts. Nobody's getting referrals from the customer. Nobody's saying, hey, who else in the neighborhood do you want to be compensated for? Nobody's doing that. So the emergency contacts become referrals, plus actually gathering referrals out of these installs. You didn't sell it, but look at all the things that you've been able to do to help create more revenue for you. And yeah, absolutely. You talk about a 97% close rate on getting them to make the phone call for you, and you didn't even make the sale. But nobody else is doing this. And then Cloverleaf. There will never be a better time to Cloverleaf than when the install truck is doing an install in the neighborhood and they can see it. They can see it happen. Yes, sir.
I have a question on this because this happened to me.
Okay?
The one lady who's gonna have her installation on the 27th this month, I asked her to be an ADT, big partner.
Right?
She is from El Paso, Texas.
Okay?
And she said, I can give you a ton of referrals in El Paso.
Great. Take it.
But I can't do it in San Diego. How would I get credit for the people in El Paso?
You get a hold of your manager and you say, hey boss, I got some systems to sell in El Paso. He'll call and get you set up in Telemar, give you a Telemar ID for El Paso. You call each one of them, you sell it over the phone.
Yeah.
Well, she was telling me that they would like this, the presentation.
Well, get a hotel for them.
No, hold on. What did I just tell you to do?
You said that you can
FaceTime.
FaceTime.
I'm on FaceTime.
Customers.
Walk me through your house.
Walk me through your house. And you can FaceTime and show the house.
Show me the house.
And do it from there.
Yeah. She wanted me to call you. I live here. I'm staying where you live now. So she wanted me to get a hold of you, and you can get a hold of me on FaceTime so you can walk me through your house.
Or even Skype.
Skype is a good one. But see, you got to understand, when I was in sales, we weren't allowed to sell outside of our territory. Now you can sell anywhere. Anywhere.
Except for overseas. How do you?
Yeah, but you have to be where ADT is. So,
ADT UK, but.
well, it's not ADT.
Mexico, I'm ready to do 20
He's ready for Mexico. All
parts with an HVAC guy.
Yeah.
How did you approach that in terms of business, like?
Well,
with
when we
insurance?
get to ADT pays, we'll talk about that, which is in a little bit. So, all right. So, here's the script that we have. It looks extremely long, and this is one of those scripts that luckily nobody's come in late today. Because if you come in late, if I have one person come in late, this is usually the opportunity I give them to try to win back a casual day. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. But this is a script I don't want you to necessarily memorize. I just want you to understand the concept of this script. Because what you're doing is you're going next to the install, right? The cloverleaf, 5 to the left, 5 to the right, sit across the street. You're introducing yourself. Hi, I'm Chris with ADT. Just want to stop by and let you know we're doing an install over here at Fran's house. If you got permission to use her name. If you did not earn the right to use her name by asking her, hey, I'm going to go meet some of your neighbors. Do you mind if I tell them that you're having an install? If you didn't do that, you have to say we're doing an install at your neighbor's house. You can't use their name, okay? And you point. Here's the funny thing, and y'all probably realize this doing installs. When you're knocking on the door and you step back, and they open the door, and you say, hi, I'm Chris with ADT. So I want to stop by because we're doing an install. When you step further back and point, what happens? They come out and they look. They can't help it. Hey, we're doing an install right down here at your neighbor Fran's house. And the reason why I wanted to stop by, and that's when you get into this, you're going to see our technicians working right now. You're going to see some people going in and out of the house. You're going to hear some noise going off at the house. That's us. That's us and our technicians. That's going to be us testing the system. So we don't want you to be concerned when you see this activity going on.
Why can't you mention their names?
If you didn't get permission to mention their name, you can't mention their name.
Not politically.
Why would what? That's a privacy thing.
Yeah.
What if they don't like their neighbors?
Right.
So you've got to get permission in order to use somebody's name.
What if their neighbor's son broke in your house?
Right. You never know. You don't ever know. So. But anyway, let's go back to the script. Okay. So now what we're wanting to do is talk to you about in the future. If you become aware of that alarm activation in the future after today, there's some things that we want you to do and some things that we don't want you to do if you become aware of that alarm activation in the future. Now, what we recommend is that you don't go next door. If that alarm goes off, don't go running next door. And the reason why is we don't want to put you in harm's way. Also, we don't want you to pick up the phone and call them because we want to have direct access to their home when that alarm goes off and be able to get a hold of them as fast as possible. All we want you to do is look out a window. Maybe jot down a description of somebody that you see fleeing the house. If you see a vehicle you don't recognize, go ahead and get a make and model description, maybe a license plate number. That way when the authorities show up, you have that information to give them. Now, do you have any questions? So you just ask them, do you have any questions? And they look at you and go, no. Or they might say yes, right? But no. I mean, right now, you're not talking to them about anything other than, hey, here's what's going to happen, and here's what's going on right now. It's almost like a public service, right? Don't go running next door. Don't call them. Just take down some information. Don't want to put you in harm's way. And then you're saying, matter of fact, you're saying you need 2 pages of paragraphs to ask this question right here. By the way, what kind of alarm system do you have in your home? And when they say, yeah, I don't have one, what do you say?
I'd like to,
What? Say it out loud.
Since I'm in the area,
Since I'm here,
I can do them right now for you.
Review, so
It'll
I'm
only
going to
take a few minutes.
okay? So you go back to that other script that you just did. You're saying everything to build up credibility for you standing right there at the door.
Disarming.
Essentially, what you're doing is you're disarming the customer. You're not there for a sales appointment. You're not there for a sales call. You're not there to try to sell them. You're there because you're doing an install next door, and you just want to kind of come warn them. Hey, this is what's going on, and in the future, here's what could happen. Here's some do's and don'ts for you. Hey, by the way, what kind of alarm system do you have? I don't have one. Well, since I'm here, I can do a free home security review. It's only going to take a few minutes, okay?
What if they didn't have a Mac? You look so just...
What are you doing?
Take your shoes off.